The house smelled of old coffee and fresh grief, a toxic blend I'd grown accustomed to. 3 weeks. 3 weeks since Sarah left me, not for work or a weekend trip, but for good. Her perfume, a delicate lily of the valley, still clung to the fabric of the sofa where she used to read, to the pillow beside me that now felt like a block of ice. I swore I could still hear her humming from the kitchen, the clink of her favorite mug. Every shadow twisted into her profile. Every creak of the floorboards was her light step. My mind was a broken record, replaying her last words, her last smile, over and over, until the edges frayed and the memory became a nightmare. Her death was sudden, a drunk driver, a wrong turn. One moment she was calling me about dinner plans, the next the world had been ripped from beneath my feet. I remembered the sterile scent of the hospital, the doctor's grave face, the cold, still sheet. The funeral was a blur of black suits and pitying glances. People said things, kind things, but they were just words. Sarah was gone. They didn't understand the silence she left behind, a silence so profound it roared in my ears. I hadn't eaten properly in days. Sleep was a luxury I couldn't afford, haunted by dreams where she was alive, vibrant, only to wake to the crushing reality of her absence. The house, our sanctuary, had become a tomb. I'd wander from room to room, touching her things, her favorite novel on the nightstand, the half-finished knitting project on the armchair, the tiny ceramic bird she loved to place on the kitchen windowsill. Each object was a sharp shard of memory, tearing at my already ragged heart. On what I vaguely registered as the third day after the funeral, I was sitting in her old armchair, staring blankly at the front door. The porch light, a habit from her night shifts, was still on, bathing the stoop in a sickly yellow glow, even though the sun had long since risen. The scent of Lily of the Valley felt stronger today, as if she had just passed through the room. My head throbbed. I hadn't showered. I hadn't even changed. My world had narrowed to this chair, this grief, this profound, aching emptiness. And then she was there. Not a memory, not a trick of the light. She was walking up our path, our familiar brick path, the one she'd grumbled about needing weeding. Her dark hair, just a little windblown, framed her face perfectly. She wore the navy dress I'd bought her last Christmas, the one she said made her eyes sparkle. In her left hand, she carried her old leather purse, the one with the slightly frayed strap. And in her right, glinting in the faint morning light, was her set of keys, the familiar jingle about to sound. My breath caught in my throat. This was a hallucination. It had to be. My mind, broken by sorrow, was playing its cruelest trick yet. I squeezed my eyes shut, pressing the heels of my hands into them until stars danced behind my eyelids. When I opened them, she was still there. Closer now, at the front door. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My lungs were paralyzed, my heart hammering against my ribs so hard I felt lightheaded. She inserted the key into the lock, the sound of metal on metal so utterly normal, so mundane that it only deepened the terror. Click. The tumblers turned. The door swung inward, just a crack at first, then wider, revealing the familiar entryway beyond. She stepped inside, placing her purse on the small table by the door, exactly where she always did. Her movements were fluid, graceful, perfectly Sarah. But Sarah was dead. I had seen her body. I had watched them lower her casket into the earth. She turned. Her eyes, those beautiful, warm brown eyes, met mine. There was no surprise in them, no question, just a quiet, unreadable intensity. A small, almost imperceptible smile played on her lips. It wasn't the vibrant, joyful smile I loved. It was flat, a practiced expression. Arthur? Her voice. Oh God, her voice. It was Sarah's voice. The same gentle tone, the same slight lilt at the end of my name. But it felt thin somehow, like a recording played from far away. A perfect imitation. I pushed myself out of the armchair, stumbling over my own feet. My legs felt like jelly. Sarah, I whispered, the name a raw wound in my throat. I backed away, my hands held up, palms out, as if warding off an apparition, which she was. She had to be. She took a step towards me, then another. Her gaze never left mine. It was unnervingly steady. I tried to focus on some detail, some flaw that would shatter this illusion. Her dress, it was uncreased, pristine. Her hair, no trace of wind, no disarray. Her skin, pale, yes, but not the gray pallor of death. It was just unblemished, too perfect. "You look like you haven't slept," she said, her voice still thin, still distant. She raised a hand slowly, almost deliberately. I flinched, expecting it to be cold, skeletal, but it was smooth, perfectly formed. She reached out, her fingertips brushing my cheek. There was no warmth, no cold, just nothing. It was like touching air, yet I felt the pressure. My God, this isn't real! I wanted to scream. I wanted to run, but I was frozen, trapped in this waking nightmare. My brain screamed for an explanation, for a way out. But there was only her, standing before me, breathing, impossibly alive. She walked past me into the kitchen. The familiar sounds of her morning routine began. The soft click of the kettle as she filled it, the gentle thud of the teapot being placed on the counter. I stood in the living room, watching her from the archway, my body trembling uncontrollably. She moved with an unsettling deliberation, her every action a precise mimicry of how Sarah would behave. She found her favorite mug, the chipped ceramic one with the painted daisies, and placed a tea bag inside. She boiled the water, poured it. My eyes tracked her every move, searching for the tell, the sign, the proof that this was all a terrible, cruel delusion. Then she sat at the kitchen table in her usual spot. She took a sip of tea. Her eyes, those unsettlingly placid brown eyes, lifted again to meet mine. She held my gaze for a long moment, and a genuine, gentle smile finally graced her lips. It was the smile that had stolen my heart, the one that used to light up her entire face, but it still felt wrong. It felt borrowed. "I'm home, Arthur," she said, her voice still thin, but this time it held a peculiar undertone, a subtle, almost imperceptible rasp at the very end of the sentence. And as she lowered the mug, I saw it, a dark, jagged crack running through the ceramic daisies, right where her thumb rested. The mug had been whole when she picked it up. My breath hitched. The mug, her favorite mug, which I had cleaned and placed back in the cupboard just yesterday, was whole. I had held it. I knew it was whole. But now there it was, a fresh, new fissure, spider webbing across the side. She tilted her head slightly, her smile still in place, unwavering. "What's wrong, love?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with something I couldn't quite place. Not malice, not love, but knowledge. She knew. She knew the mug was cracked. She knew it hadn't been. And then, very slowly, her head tilted just a little further, beyond what any human neck should allow. Her gaze still fixed on me, unwavering. That smile still perfect, still borrowed, as a faint, almost imperceptible, dry cracking sound echoed in the sudden silence of the kitchen. My heart tried to claw its way out of my chest. Who was this?